the short-lived but epic conclusion to the 6-series saga and the fulfillment of the Jedi prophecy. Anakin Skywalker brought balance to the Force when he killed Emperor Palpatine in Return of the Jedi. Hey everyone, let's analyze how Palpatine died so easily and why he never fought back to stop Vader from throwing him over the pit in Episode 6. First, we'll cover a few of his abilities, and then we'll head into the big details, using books, comics, logic, and the films to back our claims. Palpatine was known as the best duelist in the galaxy. Having mastered all 7 forms of lightsaber combat, he was versed with literally every single style and form there was. He was ruthless, arrogant, manipulative, and even more powerful when it came to the Force. I won't go into great detail about his abilities because I feel it would be just a reiteration of my last video, which discussed the power levels between Vader and Sidious, which I'll link at the end of this video as well for anyone who missed it. For decades, Palpatine planned to control Skywalker, planting his little seeds into his head every chance he got until they became so close that Palpatine was like a father to him. I'm going to read you this quote from the Revenge of the Sith novelization in Palpatine's perspective.
I have kept the secret of your marriage all these years. The slaughter at the Tusken camp you shared with me. I was there when you executed Count Dooku. And I know where you got your power to defeat him. You see, you have never needed to pretend with me the way you must with your Jedi comrades. Do you understand that you need never hide anything from me? That I accept you exactly as you are.
As we can see, Palpatine spent what seems like all of Anakin's life manipulating him into trusting him and winning him over. I'm explaining this because it will add to the evidence of the exact reasoning behind Palpatine's immobile defense. Now that we have some of the backstory, let's dive right into the reasons using not just logic, but factual evidence from the movie and mainly the novelization of The Return of the Jedi. First, we'll approach this with logic. Logically, Vader was bigger and stronger than Palpatine, clearly able to lift him up and over his head as if tossing a child. What some seem to overlook is that Vader was literally half machine. His hand, or hands at this point, were mechanical, and if you watched my Why Did Count Dooku Lose to Anakin Skywalker video, you'll remember that prosthetic robotic arms in Star Wars are immensely powerful. They're literally machine hands, capable of doing so much more than a mere human could. His grasp on Palpatine was so powerful it didn't allow him to move, while, in my opinion, it crushed his organs, pelvis, and back. Also, the lightning that Sidious was shooting at Luke continued as he was lifted into the air, falling down on him and around him, just like a fountain of electricity. Some hit Vader, but mostly hit himself. And if you've ever been shocked, you know that you're frozen until the current stops. Since he was the emitter and the receiver, it was a continuous current onto himself. Now we'll look at the novelization, which gives the most canonical and concrete evidence we have as to why he lost so easily. Remember above how I explained he spent years working on Vader's manipulation? Well, when Vader finally snapped, seeing his son, who basically said he'd rather die than turn to the dark side and kill his father,
I'll never turn to the dark side.
He felt so unbelievably betrayed that his anger actually consumed him. It overtook his consciousness, overrode his reasoning, and just turned him into a primitive animal. I'm going to quote a passage from the book now. He might still have used his powers to save himself, but his hate is now so strong his only thought is to cause Vader more pain. So the lightning continues to flicker and flash even after the body is out of sight. Palpatine's body, still spewing bolts of light, spun out of control into the void, bouncing back and forth off the sides of the shaft as he fell, disappearing at last. But then, a few seconds later, a distant explosion could be heard far down at the core. A rush of air billowed out the shaft into the throne room. So, in conclusion, we can definitely say that the dark side clouded the Emperor's judgment, and instead of thinking critically, he was too emotional and let his hatred get the better of him. If he had stopped his attack and used the Force to immobilize Vader in some way or Force propel himself away, then an epic battle would have for sure ensued. To learn more about who is more powerful, you can watch yesterday's video or click the time annotation that will pop up in a few seconds. The rest I'll leave to your imaginations to tell each other in the comments below. If you guys like this video, please leave it a thumbs up. It really helps out the channel big time. I hope you all had a great day or night, and thank you again for taking the time out of your day to escape with me and the rest of the viewers to watch this fun video. Stay tuned for tomorrow's episode of Star Wars Theory. There will be a pretty interesting collab with a big channel. And until then, remember,
the Force will be with you, always.